Awesome. Hi, welcome. Hello. Okay. And I'm sharing the screen. Awesome.
Sweet.
All right. So, hi, everybody. Welcome to the permits class for Sacking Business. So, I'll introduce myself. My name is Ariana Rodriguez. I'm part of the City of Santa Ana Economic Development Department division. And then we have.
Hi, my name is Valdavinos. I'm adjunct professor here to the work experience course, and I'm a current one now doing business law in Western State.
And then sé que preferimos español, so voy a tratar de hacerlo. ¿Sí?
Entiendo.
¿Segura?
Sí, si no entiendo, te.
Okay, me hace preguntas, okay?
Sí.
Okay, so this is going to be a presentation just talking a little bit about how to start a business in Santa Ana. So we're going to be talking about the different permits that you may need for the different business types. So just so I kind of understand, what was your name and then the business that you want to start or that you have?
I have no business.
No? Okay, what business do you want to start?
I'm in bakery.
A bakery? Okay, awesome. And then, sorry?
Sourdough bread.
Sourdough bread.
Sourdough bread.
That's very popular right now.
It's a good niche.
And then, did you want to introduce yourself?
So my name is my reason I'm thinking in the future first, the interpretation and second one, personal friend.
Okay,
Interpretation and personal. Awesome.
it's two good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, welcome. Come on in. Sit down. Take a seat. Yeah, we're already starting. Take a seat.
We're just doing introductions. So if you want to introduce yourself and then the type of business type that you want to start or that you have.
It's only for Santa Ana?
Oh no, it could be anywhere.
It's gonna be general information.
Yeah, general information.
Yeah, my name is Sorel. Yes. I have a DBA as a bookkeeper.
Okay.
Bookkeeper, awesome. Okay. All right.
Perfect.
Very nice to
Welcome.
meet you all. And then we'll be going through a presentation. So this one is going to talk about Santa Ana, but a lot of the permits are either going to be county, state. I do have city ones, but they're usually very similar, like Santa Ana business license, this is business license. So they should be around the same steps. Feel free to ask me any questions, all right? So we'll start by talking a little bit about Economic Development Division in the city, just so you guys kind of get to know what we do. So we are basically the business-friendly division in the city, right? So we want as many businesses in Santa Ana. That's what we're here for. We provide customized assistance. We have one-on-one assistance with any person that wants to start a business, has a business, or has an idea about a business. We're happy to help. Yeah.
Can I take a picture?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So we do have one-on-one assistance. We have a business hotline. Feel free to give us a call with any questions you may have, whether it be like, I'm looking for a brick and mortar business. We have site selection assistance that we can help you with. Or I need assistance with my business license application. We can connect you with the right person or we can help you ourselves. So that's just a little overview of what we do at Economic Development. And what we
One of your workshops, if you
awesome.
share that.
Thank you. So we also do have workshops with the city. We have workshops in English and in Spanish once a month. So it's the second Wednesday of the month that we host these workshops. And it's how to start your business. And then we're also creating more niche workshops. So if you have we just recently had like a marketing one, like how to market your business, and we used AI, how to create a logo, how to create a flyer. And it's just something that just it'll help you put out there in your social media. So, great question.
Yeah. And I think there's a Spanish one as well.
Yeah, so there is a Spanish workshop that we host. I believe that's the third Wednesday. But if you come to our workshop and it's the English one, we can always help translate. Okay? That's what we do. All right, so now we'll get into actual steps of how to start a business. As I said, this is going to be a little bit specific to Santa Ana, but it's very similar throughout cities. So, okay. So very, very first step, and I would say it's a very, very important step because we see it a lot, is checking your zoning requirements. So, the way the city is kind of built out is that different zones can be used for different business types if we want to see it in a business way, right? So like let's say we don't want a school right next to like a heavy industrial, right? Or we don't want a heavy industrial right next to residences. So if you want to have a brick and mortar business, it's very, very important that before you sign the lease or before, I don't know, you make a payment to the landlord, you check with us and our planning department to see if that zone is zoned correctly for the business type you want to open. And then this is something that you can do with a planning agency, or you can just kind of give us a call and we're happy to help you through that process. What we've seen before is that I've had someone come in that's like, hey, I'm so excited, I'm going to open a restaurant. I signed the lease, I'm ready to go. And we check the zone and it's not zoned for a restaurant. And that's when it gets difficult, right? Because that business type is not permitted there. So that's why I say this is very, very important step. You don't want to get yourself into a lease or any type of contract before you check the zone. Okay?
What
That's
is the difference in the cost? What?
So that's a good question. So sometimes you will need something called a conditional use permit. So when it's this is why it's important to check the zone. So, for example, sometimes the zoning or the way that it's described is it can be a banquet hall, but it needs a conditional use permit. So what that means is that it needs to be reviewed by the planning commission, and they need to either say, "Hey, it'll pass" or "It won't pass," and that's what that will cost you, the application or like the process. But you don't always have to go through that process, right? If it's zoned and you're good to go, no fees. But if you have to go through like a conditional use permit and it has to have that additional review, it can be very, very costly. And sometimes they don't even approve it, right? So that's why it's very, very important to check with us. Okay? All right, any questions? Nope. And this is again only for brick and mortar. So if you're gonna open a storefront, okay, we'll talk about home-based businesses in a little bit. Okay. So then next step is to choose the business structure, and then I'll let
Yeah.
Irving talk a little bit about
So yeah, I think this is one of the biggest steps. You want to have to know, you want to know what kind of business you want to set up. That way you can minimize your liability in case anything happens. So this is probably one of the crucial steps where you want to know what you want to set up so that you can so that you can set yourself up for a better business structure and be able to make the most out of it. So you have your sole proprietorship, you have your limited liability companies, your sole proprietorship is always going to be owned by yourself. It's going to be one owner. Also, like general partnerships, there's going to be more than one person. Are you going to be owning it? Are you going to be sharing that management? Are you going to have investors only? Are you going to? So it just depends what kind of business you're going to set up. Is it going to be you and your husband, you and another family member? Are you going to have agreement between the both of you? Who owns what? Who has what liability? So this is kind of what you have to know when you're setting it up. What's going to be benefit for you because there's tax incentives and there's also more city and county, even and state more requirements for it as well for each type of these businesses. So we'll go through each one of these just to give you more details about them. So I'll go ahead and hit the next one, but these are kind of like the overall general ones. So for sole proprietorship, a sole proprietorship is like the simplest way to start a business. It's just you, one owner, no separate legal entity, and all the liability though with that does come with you. So it is tied to you. It is something that you claim in your taxes. It is something that affects your income. So it could move you up on tax brackets. It could do all of that. So if you're like depending on Medi-Cal or other stuff, it could affect your benefits with the city, and it could affect your benefits later on when you retire. And it's the good thing is you for this one you don't need to register with the state. This is something you kind of just do. You can do with the city, and so you don't really have to go through too many hoops. So there's going to be less paperwork, and it's going to be so it's gonna be and all the money, a lot of the profit is just straight to you. So like this is the easiest way. This is the simplest way to start a business. It's usually the one way. Like if it's just you, um, starting one usually you see this, and like for people who have like home-based businesses, who have a first time entrepreneurship, like this is their first time kind of starting one. This is kind of where they like the base level where you want to because it's easy and inexpensive, so it's kind of that's where you want to start. A lot of the times simple and low cost, minimal paperwork, and yeah. But yeah, and then I'll go on to the next one. A general partnership, this is where like there's gonna be more than one owner, and it's gonna be together with this does kind of start forming this kind of where you do form a legal entity, so you do have something else. It's easy to start, profits pass to each partner through the taxes as well, but each partner does share the responsibility and liability of it all. Profits, you do have to file I think every year, and it is optional. This one does have optional state registration, so you don't have to always register this one. It's more better that you do though. It's encouraged that you do, just so that you have more authenticity and more legitimacy as well. But it's easy to form, share responsibility, share liability, and protect. And it does. But then there's the potential for disputes between your partners. So you want to usually have a general partnership agreement so that you know what's going to happen, who shares what cost, who shares what liability. Again, like I keep saying, but that's and then the next one would be the limited liability company. So this one's kind of going to be for firms, kind of be for businesses. Small to medium size, so it's going to have more people sharing into that business, so more than two, usually three or four owners. Usually you see this sometimes in firms or like legal firms or architecture firms, and it does so each person is a member of the firm, and then they're usually not personally liable unless they're the ones who are being negligent, they're the ones who are intentionally committing a crime, then they can still, it protects the partners, but it doesn't, that person still has responsibilities for, to follow the laws and everything like that. So they can still be held accountable while protecting the other members of that company. That's why a lot of firms start like this. They become LLCs. You see a lot of firms with this usually Callahan and Blaine, LLC, or any other firms because it protects, it has a lot of advantages and it still protects everybody included. And then, so it's one of the most popular structures, and it's still flexible as well. But yeah, then we can move on to it. So limited liability partnership, yeah, this is the one. Law firms, accounting firms, and other licenses. Professional, usually like you want usually a lot of doctors sometimes, like if they're trying to do with other doctors, this is what you want. You want to have, and then you want to have make sure you have an agreement. That's the thing. All of these, you want contracts, you want them in writing, you want to have everything backed up because a lot of times what happens is you come into an oral agreement and and if a dispute comes up and now you're saying something, the other side is saying something else, uh, people like it's really hard to take one over the other. So you want everything in writing, anything you do, in because you want that paper trail that you can use in court to say, look, this is the formal writing we have. Everything in here is what counts. Everything outside of it does not. It was never mentioned. Was not even supposed to be part of this. So people won't be able to allow to bring in. Oh, but you promised that you were gonna pay 100% of the taxes each year. Oh, but that's not in the writing. That's not in the agreement. So the agreement is what usually controls a lot of it. So you want to make sure you're protected. All interests are protected for both sides. A lot of this will be like families, members, and stuff like that. You also want to protect your family. Um, so the good thing is profits do pass on to your personal taxes and their annual filings, and it's really liability protection, partnership flexibility. If one partner ever wants to leave the partnership, it's easy to, reconstruct or the agreement and make it so that they can leave and maybe somebody else takes their place, or maybe that other person just takes full control, or other partners share more responsibility. So more, it just does come with more regulations. And then can go to the next one. Businesses with active managers and passive. So this one is where like, okay, one person says they're gonna manage the whole thing. Other people just want to invest. They're just gonna put money in. And then that's what this is kind of partnered with the general partnership, and this is the one where you want to, okay, the person who's the manager has all the liability. The person who's just investing, they have their only liability is they could lose their money that they invested. That's really it. But they're not gonna be hold to any other no repercussions to anything else that could happen. So if you're gonna start one with a partner, this one's really good. If you just want to invest, like usually you see this in housing development or real estate development. Sorry, yeah, and you want to do, the thing is you do have to annually do filings for taxes, and you do have to register with the Secretary of State. So all of these usually start with like little bit of paperwork, usually a couple forms, and then as the partnerships and businesses grow, they're hold to more responsibilities and more paperwork and more things that they have to file with the state and county. And this one's honestly, if you just want to invest, perfect. If you want to have control of a business and you want investors, this one's perfect too. And you separate each other too. So a lot of these overlap. So that's a good thing. You're gonna see that a lot of these overlap. So this is why it's important to know which one you want to structure, which one you want to set up, because depending on that, it could affect the other things as well and the consequences of that. Okay, and then we can move on to corporations. So yeah, these are the big corporations. These are the big businesses. You're gonna have multiple owners, so each owner is sharing in the profits as well, and they're generally protected from personal liability. So usually, if something really goes wrong, it's gonna be the corporation that ends up like this. They're the worst thing they can do is the corporation ceases to exist. Liability goes out to the corporation, unless it's really, 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 really like somebody did something super intentional, and they meant to do it, then they can still be held responsible. But usually, it's the only person taking the liability is the corporation itself. It won't be an actual person. It'll just be maybe sometimes unless a member of the board does really something really bad. But usually, I mean, it would be something like embezzlement, something really outrageous. You do have to register this one with the state. You do have to formal structure, bylaws, meetings. You have to keep records. Strong liability protection. Easier to raise capital though, because like I said, you can have more investors come in, and this one as well, and more complex and ongoing. So a lot of these are going to have more annual ongoing requirements you have to keep on, and deadlines that you have to follow. But yeah, that's another one. And then we can move on to nonprofits. So I get this question sometimes from students. They want to start a charitable organization where they don't really care about making too much money. And this one's, I mean, for some people, they really want to give back to the community, and so this is one's good for charity and educational purposes and public purposes. You need directors and officers to be part of it. So they're not just members. There's people who actually, have to sit in meetings and talk about what the direction of this. There's a mission. There's got to be a mission for that nonprofit, and you have to everything you do kind of has to go to that mission, in completing that mission. The good thing is that the state does, or there's a lot of tax grants, a lot of and they do support. You can get a lot of money from the state. Even the federal government can give you money, and there's a lot of grants you can apply for. So they can really help you set up your business and help you be able to at least get that first leg, couple legs, and then you do have to meet certain um you do have to meet certain numbers sometimes. You do have to meet certain requirements where you have to show that you're helping enough people that they can keep giving you money. But it's pretty honestly, there's tax incentives for it, and there's you also get and don't you can get donations from people. So there's a lot more ways to really help with that mission. But it's more centered on doing something that's going to benefit the public and other people, not really just, oh, I want to make money. But if you have a good cause that you want to fight for, this is a great way to do that and partner with others in the community. There are more rules to it though, because there it is tied to money from the government. There's going to be more red tape, certain things you can do with that money and certain things you cannot do. But overall, it's a great way if you just want to help the community. You guys have any questions about any of these so far?
If you're so for those with the chair holder, like you see the side is like off the chair window. The best side
Can you hit the next one? So can you hit one more? So I'm gonna give you the legal disclaimer before I even like answer that question. Yeah, because before I even answer that, you have to know like number one, tax purposes. We don't. We're not tax lawyers, and we're not giving tax information, so we can't help you with that. And then also when it comes to uh starting your own business and picking the right one, you do have make sure you consult a lawyer. But to answer your question, like I don't know if there's a best one. It really depends. I mean, you want to be the sole owner? Do you have enough money to start it yourself? Like if you do, why would you not want to start your own and be the only owner and start it like that? But I would stay like still she could go one backward. Okay, so you look, this is like a chart if you want to take a picture of this one and see like this is more like general like overall the general stuff. Yes, you do. Yeah, so like the best four, there's a best four section. So like a sole proprietorship, right? You want a freelancer, solo entrepreneur, just you. You want a small team, and you're gonna start it with somebody else. Are you gonna join with somebody else that's gonna help you? Or family business. This would be like a general partnership. Like again, like are you gonna just want investors, like a real estate thing? Passive partners. Are you professionals? Are you guys all have licenses? Are you all attorneys? Are you all doctors? You would look at a limited liability partnership agreement. Do you want a LLC where you can just do any startup? You want to do you just want to be a personal trainer just yourself, something like that, where you can still like end up growing it into a small business. You can always start from one of these and grow it into another one. So you can always like if it starts growing and it starts okay, now you need to bring somebody else in to help you manage and maybe do more classes or maybe hold more times available. So you can always go like you could start at one and move your way down, or you could even move your way back up or down. Yeah. So it's not like so think about it. Is it just gonna be you doing the business? It's gonna be somebody else. Are you gonna want employees? Are you gonna want just so it depends on all those factors that you have to really evaluate before you think about it. Like, and that comes with you knowing if you're gonna have that support from somebody else, or if it's just I'm willing to do this myself, and that's it. And I want to take the risk because the one taking the risk would be you, but you would also share into all the profits yourself. So there's an equal. There's always going to be pros and cons to both sides. But yeah, and then the last one would just be the charities and community organizations. But yeah, like the best one, I can't really tell you. It just depends. Everybody's situation is different. So yeah, you have options. That's the good thing. There's a lot of options. Um, yeah, and just you got to think about them like that. And then, do you want them all to go into your taxes? Do you want to report that income? Do you want to maybe not report it so that you can still benefit from other things from like the city or from state benefits, stuff like that. So all of that comes into play. and setting up your business because that affects everything else around you as well. Your livelihood as well. Yeah. Yeah. And then because I mean, yeah, like personal trainer, would you be the only one? Would you be the only?
With maybe 2 months.
Okay, then you will probably be looking at maybe a small business, general partnership, or like a small business limited liability company. Yeah. So yeah. So all that comes into play. Yeah. A lot of things. A lot of things. Yeah. Yeah. What was the other business that you were thinking of?
Just I actually do a contracted um, organization.
Uh-huh.
That we, construction.
Uh-huh. So you do that as an independent contractor? Yeah. But if you started a business, then you can do tax, you can write that off. You could write all of that off. If you started a business for that interpretation thing, then you could have tax write-offs that you can say every time I have to drive to this place, I want all that my miles back because of that. Or I have to spend money on I have to buy clipboards or usually is a lot of like educational like pen or whatever you have to use for your that you can get it so that because right now you're just getting one independent contractor check. Like if you had a business that was contracted through that instead of just your personal self, then you could benefit. It's a lot of this is set up for tax incentives. This country is set up for the business owner. The business owner is the one who really benefits off the laws in America, to be honest. That's how they set this up since the founding fathers. So this is a lot of the way you get around it is through setting up a business. Yeah. Any other questions about those businesses types? What kind of like you said you would want to do like a business where you do
I do like have a sole proprietor, a DBA.
okay,
Okay.
so you already have one. So you're already the sole owner. Yeah. And well, to you, what are the benefits and what do you really enjoy about it and what do you think like helps helps having that?
Well, this is the first year, just I'm going to do the taxes, but yes,
Mhm.
I can write off the
Yeah.
miles and the office expense, that's a lot of things that I
Yeah.
can, deduct from the income.
Yeah, and that's income that yeah they would be taking from you
Oh,
if you
yeah,
didn't have
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can deduct the space that I use as an office in my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
from the rent, yeah,
Yeah. Perfect.
it's a benefit.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Awesome. And you wanted to start what kind of business? Were you maybe thinking of starting a business?
I want information because my friend want to maybe sell bread,
Okay.
food,
Yeah.
manualidades,
Okay.
art.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's sick. She can no pudo venir.
Oh, she
But
said,
I'm here for her.
okay, perfect. Well, yeah, get information and then let her know about the workshops. Go to the workshops. Like honestly, please.
If she wants more information.
Yeah.
She feels better.
Yeah.
Where we can find the workshops, information.
I'll show a QR code at the end with all our information.
Oh,
I think I have flyers over there too. I can.
oh, okay.
Okay.
You guys want to start a business too? Erica and Claudia?
Maybe when we or a contractor,
Okay.
of my status.
Uh-huh. So, okay, so you will start a sole proprietorship, and then you would be the only one, and then you could get all those tax incentives, and then you could be, so they would be hiring your company instead of you, but you would be the sole employee and so on. So you would benefit, and then you could actually, how does that? Yeah, that one you need more expertise, because this is just a little more complex. But yeah,
Yeah.
you really should look into this. Yeah.
I got my experience,
Okay. when you got your certificate and you're on the good track. So yeah, and you're gonna get the BA as well.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, awesome. Yeah, Erica, you starting a business too?
No, I'm gathering information for my child.
Okay,
Ah,
okay, good,
He likes the
good,
business world.
good, perfect. Yes. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Again,
So now that we talked a little bit about different business types, and then once you do your homework, I know a lot of us are kind of already established thinking about it. Irving was talking about the different types of businesses that you have to register with the state. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the different avenues you have to go through with the state, with the county, and with the city. And as I said, cities, I'm going to specifically be talking about Santa Ana, but a lot of them have the same processes. So as Irving said, anything, and any LLC, LP, or corporation has to be registered with the state, the Secretary of State. The application does have a fee. It's about $120, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's about $700 annually.
800.
$800. Thank
perfect,
you.
perfect.
$800 annually that you have to pay. So sole partnership and general partnership, you don't have to register it. Okay. And then after we do that, we then can file. This is going to be with the county, the Orange County Clerk Recorder. You file your DBA, so what you're doing business as. And then this is about $23. You're just establishing that name for your business, and registering it. They do have a process where you have to publish it with the newspaper about 3 times or for 3 consecutive something periods. But they can give you all the information and all of that. But pretty simple application. And again, as I said, with the city econ dev, we can help you with any of these steps. So
What's the purpose of putting in
so it's a matter, it's one of the processes that they do. It's a good question. But they do in order to confirm that it's yours, you have to publish it 3 times, you know?
Um,
3 times?
3 times.
Yeah.
Yes, 3 times. But I don't know what the purpose is exactly. Do you happen to know?
I can't. Usually it's to give notice. Usually it's to give notice to anybody who maybe had that name, or yeah, it's usually if somebody maybe says, "Oh, I had that name. That was mine. I own that DBA," kind of thing, or like you have to let people know, okay, like you're using that now. Like maybe somebody used it in the past and they still want to claim it, and so like, but they're not using it. So you pretty much say, "Hey, I'm using this now." And so you give notice to people. It's to give notice, usually general notice to people. Sometimes they never get it. Sometimes it's just a DBA that's no longer, nobody uses it no more, so they're never gonna fight you for it. But sometimes it could be one that somebody still wants, somebody's still using, and they're like, oh, okay, like you can't. People can get confused if they're gonna might think you're them, and now you're like, oh, so you could think you're stealing their business sometimes, stuff like that. So just kind of overall notice to the general public.
It's still a requirement, for newspapers, just asking because everything's changed. And hardly anybody.
That's a big, I mean, this is kind of like the the only other way to go around this newspaper thing is if you know for sure somebody has that and you want to that DBA, and then you would have to directly give them the notice. But because you don't know if somebody does or not, it's kind of you want to put it out in the public. So it's more of public. Unless you know somebody has that, then you have to inform them about it. But if you don't, then you should be okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And then there is a way to search like current DBAs. A lot of the people that we assist, if they're thinking of a name or anything like that, there's like if you guys scan the QR code, you can put search DBA, and if it's already taken,
Yeah.
probably think of another one. But you're always able to see what already exists. Any further questions on this piece? Cool. All right, so after that, then we suggest that, and it is required for partnerships, corporations, and any businesses with employees to get an EIN. And then this is basically like the social security for your business. Sole proprietorships can use their social security instead. But this is something that you get through the IRS and it has no cost.
Could they use their I-10 if they don't have, or do they have to apply for an I-10 if they don't have a social security number?
It's a good question.
I think they have to apply for an I-10.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, if you don't have a social, you can apply for an I-10 and you can use the I-10 to also start a business. Yeah. Usually you could use the one you use for taxes as well.
Okay. Thank you.
And what's the, sorry, again, another question.
No,
Why either or instead of just doing the EIN instead of your social? Why is that an option?
Just to separate, to like not mix them if you don't have to. You could have a, separation. Yeah. Because I mean, either way, I mean, your social for sure is gonna follow you forever. And the other one is like the business could die. It could last 1 year and it could die, 2 years, it could die. But yeah, I can't give you a more specific answer than that, to be honest.
As a sole proprietor, you don't need it, you can use the social. That is recommended to have a to get the bank account under your bill with that bank is not related with your
Yeah.
Yes, then when you file taxes is separated. Sometimes they need what kind of industry, so it links everything with your EIN instead of your social security. When you start growing and you maybe have an independent contract or you have something that is attached to the EIN, like is a social security for your DBA or any entity like that.
thank you.
Gracias. Yeah.
Teaching me.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're talking a little bit more about like city-based permits that we talked about. State, county, and then this is city. At least for the city of Santa Ana, if you are going to have a brick and mortar business, a home-based business. Oh, home-based business. Sorry. Home-based business, you need to have a home occupation permit. So let's say, for example, I know you were talking about crafts. If you're going to start your business from your home, this is something that you're just notifying the city. Hey, I have my office in my home, kind of like you do. I'm just notifying the city that I'm kind of conducting that business there, and it's about $54, and it's a one-time fee, and that's it. And it's for home-based businesses only if you're starting from your home.
It's all for a year.
Once,
Oh,
yes. Unless you move, then you have to update it and then repay the fee. But it's just a one-time fee, and that's it. Just for the home occupation permit. We'll talk about the business license in a little bit, but this one just one time. Okay, now we'll talk about business license. So this one is a license that is required for the city of Santa Ana. I know a lot of cities do have it. For the city of Santa Ana at least. It all depends it's all based off of your revenue projections when you start it. So we always kind of maybe estimate a little bit lower on what your projections will be for your business. I've seen it cost the business license team works with the business owner to see what's the best schedule for them. We have a lot of different schedules that sometimes they're charged once a year or they're charged 3 times a year, but it is an annual fee that you have to keep paying as long as your business is being conducted in Santa Ana. Any questions on this one? And then we talked a little bit about the home occupation permit, which is for home-based businesses. For brick and mortar businesses in Santa Ana, we have the certificate of occupancy. So this is required for physical locations, storefronts. And it's basically going to be with their planning and building agency. And it's just for our inspectors to go look at the storefront, the location of the business, make sure it's safe, make sure everything's up to code, and make sure everything's good to go. Again, this is only for brick and mortar. So if you're starting from your home, you only need the home occupation permit. And if you're doing a brick and mortar, you only need the CO. You don't need both. And then this one does have a fee, but it all depends on the business size of your location, and all that stuff. So it does
For
vary.
example, if I have my business in craft, no need inspection.
Well, if you have like a store, yes.
Only in my home, I make a.
Oh, in your home, no. Home occupations permits
Oh.
don't need inspections. So this one's different, right? This one's for brick and mortar, like if you have a storefront
Oh,
only. If you have a home-based business, which is kind of what you're describing, then you would only need the HOP, not the CO.
if I have my bakery in my home, that the city can come to my home.
Are you gonna sell that from your house? Are you gonna sell from your home, or are you just gonna make it at your home? The bake, like
The bread.
the bread and all that. And would you just be making it at home, or would you be selling it from?
¿Las va a hacer en la casa solamente
No,
o las va a vender
no,
en la casa?
no, solo hacerlo. Only
Uh-huh.
make in my anything, bakery, bread, cakes.
So anything with home-based business, there's no inspections from the city. From the city. I think when you're, cuando usted está hablando de ya hacer como su pan y va a ser con el condado, porque esos son los que van a inspectar ya si está limpio, todo eso. Eso es con el departamento de salubridad. Nosotros solamente es para el permiso de conducir negocio en la ciudad, ¿entiende?
Sí, pero gracias por la información porque así sé que.
Sí, todavía tendría usted que ir con el departamento de salubridad, con el condado. Ujú. Yeah. Sí, como por ejemplo, si fuera nada más las manualidades y ya, que no tiene nada de comida, solamente necesita el de la ciudad, el Home Occupation Permit, y ya no necesitaría ir con la salubridad.
Okay.
Okay? Y ya. Okay. Okay.
Gracias. Hablo mejor español que inglés.
Okay. So continuing, we then have the fat, oil, and grease program. So this is only going to be for restaurants and food establishments that have kitchens. Essentially, we have a program that we don't want them to be, throwing all their grease in our water system. So we have a whole program set up for them. I don't think we have any restaurants in here, so we can skip it. And then we have different industry specific permits. So every business is different, right? So every type of business needs different types of permits. We have some for food trucks that have to go with the OC Healthcare Agency. Transportation needs a permit from the DMV. So like if you're like trucker or anything like that. Manufacturing and emissions, we also have an air quality permit. Restaurants, OC Healthcare permit. And then liquor stores, we do have liquor stores?
Transportation?
Yes. And then we also have something called ABC, so they track all the liquor licenses. And then retail and wholesale, we have a seller's permit. So, for example, I know you were going to sell crafts. You would need a seller's permit because you're going to be reselling. Does that make sense? So it's essentially with our Department of Tax and Fee, and it's just for you to be able to resell. So they're very niche to the specific type of business that you're gonna open. And then that's it.
Yeah. And that's for the workshops, if you want to do more information.
Yeah, I think that my flyers are out there, so I'll go grab them. As you guys think of questions. Okay, thank you so much.
En inglés y español.
qué pena que mucha gente no haya salido de esto, porque yo lo supe porque conozco una persona que trabaja aquí.
Ah,
Yo trabajo en un centro comunitario
sí,
y ahí mis compañeras pues, quieren hacer negocio.
sí,
Y fue
ojalá.
lástima que nomás lo hayan hecho interno y no lo han hecho a la comunidad.
Sí, tratamos de sí, a veces it would have been nicer to partner with the city to maybe announce more, but oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Con organizaciones, con gente que ayuda a la comunidad, con la ciudad, escuelas, y
Sí, yo trabajo en la Fina Felax,
Oh, okay.
pero no supe, y también voy a las escuelas.
¿Quién le dijo a ustedes?
Me mandaron un correo una compañera que trabaja.
Thank you.
Ajá, por eso supe y yo le mandé a otra amiga, pero no tuve la oportunidad de hablar.
Ahora más o menos.
Oh, sí, sí. Ah, bueno. Sí, porque hay gente que quiere vender galletitas, otras quieren vender gasolina, que son mujeres que por teléfono. Bueno,
Okay, so the other workshops that we have English and Spanish as well.
oh, thank you.
And then our information is on there as well, so we also have like one-on-one consulting to get to sit on the business.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Awesome. Sweet. Muchas gracias. Oh, okay. Sí, 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 sí.
Pero estuvo interesante.
Ujú. Sí,
Fue cortito, pero interesante,
Sí.
porque uno no sabe.
sí.
Yeah.
La amiga que está enferma, ella quiere vender comida, pero no sabe si tiene, pues espera, pero como ahorita que
Puede cocinar.
ajá, sí, ajá, yo le dije que sí, pero que no sabía, entonces ella me dijo, "Ven, por favor".
Sí, sí, las del condado vinieron, no sé si fue a su presentación o ahorita está ocurriendo
Ya,
en
creo
County.
que arriba está también ellos.
Ahorita están las del condado aquí, las de salubridad. Les sugiero que vaya y les pregunte a ella.
Sí.
Ya, porque tienen diferentes tipos de permiso que sí
Ujú.
dejan en casa y otras que no.
Yo quería eso porque hace años lo hice. Antes
Sí,
estaba
sé que es
prohibido.
sourdough, yes, porque no incluye leche ni fruta ni nada que
Nada.
ya, es el puro sourdough,
Es-
pero ya sea otra comida.
Yo estoy trabajando para hacerlo mejor.
Ok, ya. Les sugiero que le pregunte a.
En el de arriba, se sube por las escaleras, creo que en el,
¿De qué lado?
ajá.
Ya lo estoy por allá. Gracias.